Yeah. All right, so let's get started. Plaintiff team, you have your opening statement.
Your Honor, we have a law firm of Beach, King, Wolf, and Spar, and we are here today representing our client, Miss Monica Clark. Miss Glavin is a hardworking real estate agent and former news anchor that has come under duress for her relationship with client John Malcolm. Miss Glavin has been viciously attacked online by John's wife, Julia Malcolm, on a public website. His unthoughtful and merciless post has significantly damaged Miss Glavin's reputation and considerably reduced her clientele, all on the basis of a false accusation. Miss Glavin is led to believe that the man she was talking to, Mr. John Malcolm, was divorced and single. She had no way of knowing that he was actively using her to cheat on his wife. Therefore, Julia Malcolm had no right to put such an absurdly false statement about her. Charged Julia Malcolm with defamation for making multiple false claims and attempting to hurt Miss Glavin and her business career. Okay,
All right, very good. Opening statement for the defense.
Your Honor, we are the law firm of Rump, Brary, and Dyer, and we are here representing our client, Julie Malcolm. Malcolm has a family, a husband, and a couple of girls. When she learned of the affair going on between her husband and Monica Glavin, a well-known newscaster, Malcolm then turned her feelings into a post on a website where similar women shared what they went through as the same thing. The website later disappeared. Julie Malcolm did not defame Glavin. She merely described her experience, and there is evidence to back this up. This act was never meant to destroy Monica Glavin and her real estate agency. It was more spreading awareness to other women who are scared to speak up. Again, this act was never meant to destroy Monica Glavin and her real estate agency. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. So those are the opening statements from each side. And what we are going to do now is we're going to start with I want to give the statement of the case, and remember that these are the things that they're having to prove. Okay? In order for the plaintiff to prevail in this case, they have to show these following 5 things. So if there was a false and defamatory statement that was made about the plaintiff, published to a third party, with the fault of at least negligence on the part of the defendant, and that's in making the post, right? Like, you have to be at least negligent in writing what you wrote. That was either defamatory per se or cause special harm. So what does that mean, defamatory per se? It can be one of these 3 things. Words that indicate that the plaintiff has a offensive or contagious disease, like a sexually transmitted infection or disease or whatever the current nomenclature is. Words that tend to injure the subject in his or her trade or profession, and words that tend to subject the plaintiff to public hatred, ridicule, or contempt. As always, there are defenses to any defamation case, the biggest one being absolute truth. Minor inaccuracies are also not considered to be defamatory, and so we will talk about that. So, okay. If Monica is considered to be a public figure, then you have an additional requirement. You have to show actual malice, which is not a really bad feeling about it or really a lot of hatred in it. It's actually a legal term, and it means that you know what you're saying is wrong when you say it, or you just reckless disregard for the truth as a whole. You just don't care if it's true or not, and you're not going to do anything about it to investigate the statements that you're making. Okay? And the law for public figures in Ohio is based on these factors. Public figure is either somebody who is a public official, like a politician, judge, etc., or somebody who steps into the public spotlight, becomes known for what they're doing in public, and has acquired adequate status to combat the harms from the negative criticism. Okay? That is the standards that we're going to be using in this case. You can keep those in mind and I'll keep them up as I will let the plaintiff now present their case for why this is defamation, go through all the elements, and also introduce into evidence the web post, which I will then hand out to everybody.
This Ruby Malcolm is being charged with defamation for her client, Miss Monica Glavin. As previously stated, Miss Glavin was on her weekend going in regard to build her real estate company. She was deceived by Mr. John Malcolm, who misled Miss Glavin to believe that she was separated from Miss Malcolm.
Found out about her husband's unfaithfulness. She took to the website, she'sahomewrecker.com. Miss Malcolm proceeded to go on Senator and call her names on the website, claiming that she is a quote unquote nasty real estate agent who destroyed her marriage. Also claiming how she was getting an STD from her husband she didn't want. She was due to the fact that she was feeling burning sensations, or more or less claiming that she got an STD. Miss Malcolm published her statement, she'sahomewrecker.com, which caused Miss Galvin's business to drop 60% within the next 2 months.
All right, so what we'd like to do now is we'd like to introduce into evidence, the She's a Homewrecker post that was made. The Wayback Machine means the internet never does really forget. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and pass it out to you guys. Take one and pass it on. Take one and pass it on. While I give them like a couple minutes to read the post, so that they are familiar with the contents of it. I'll also put it up on the screen. This is the post. You got some extras over there. Yeah. All right. You guys have had a chance to review the web posting. I would like the planning team to do something really quick. I want them to walk their way through these elements and make sure that you are proving every aspect of this. You have to prove every aspect of this. Can you have one of you guys walk through these elements to say how it is that you're showing that this web posting is all of these things about the plaintiff published to a third party? Can somebody do that?
Well, because I've listened to the family lawyer statement, she said in the post that she knew that he was married and she knew he had kids. Like, I don't know how Julia thinks she knows this, or if they talked about it, they probably haven't, but Monica did not know. And so she had no right to like, publish this about her. And then the statement was made specifically to attack Monica, and it was published on this website where anyone could see it.
But Monica's name is not in the web post.
Well, the pictures of her art. So
So the pictures are what show that she is who she is. Okay. And so there's published to a third party, maybe being posted on a website. Was this defamatory? Did she intend to post this? Yes. So,
it's very strong language, so it's like she's obviously like trying to put this out there for everyone to see and to make her attractive.
okay. And was this defamatory per se? And if so, in what category is this defamatory per se? So these are the three factors. Contagious disease, trade profession injury, or subject to public hatred, or is it all? It could be one, two, or three of them. It could be all. What would you like to argue?
I would say it's a little bit of everything. I think for the most part, she's trying to hurt her reputation. Then she's also like indicating that she could possibly have an STD, which she like never got the results, so no one knows if this is like true or not. Then she was also like just trying to like publicly put that out there. Really public.
Okay. And then the argument about the public speaker or public figure, in the view of the plaintiff, or is in your view, is Monica a public figure?
She used to be a public figure.
So is she still a public figure?
No, but people might recognize her name.
Okay. All right. So why would she not be a public figure now? Like,
Because she stepped down from newscasting.
and what does that mean in terms of the standard we have here for that? So she's not a public official, right? So nobody's arguing that she's a public official, as in like a government mayor, the governor, that kind of thing. So, but is she somebody who's voluntarily taken a spot in the public spotlight and acquired adequate status to combat the harms from negative criticisms? What do you think, counselors?
Yeah, there's no way of kind of like combating it. She didn't even know until like her business started going down, and people started giving her dirty looks. So she had to like investigate it herself. So that's not really fair for her that she couldn't like about it like right away.
Okay, all right, those are good arguments. Let's turn it over to the defense now. So wait, are there any other false statements of facts that are in play? Because like you mentioned, I think you mentioned that, I want to just make sure that we're clear on what the false statements of fact are that are in an issue for this case. So can we just list them out? You said that there was the STD, right, is a false statement of fact. And then what else was the false statement of fact? That she knew about their relationship and her marriage. Is there any other false statements of fact that are in contention from your perspective?
That she's done it to other men too.
That she's done it. So the implication that she's done it to other men too, or she would do it to other men. Okay. All right. So, okay. Okay? Let's turn it over to the defense and say, how do we respond to these arguments? Which of these factors do you want to argue against? You guys have a statement of rebuttal? Okay, go ahead.
You've heard Glavin argue that the post our client made supposedly destroyed her career. It in fact did not. Glavin's business declined, and it can't be just for one social media post. Let's be real. The website no longer exists. Glavin is a real estate agent, and real estate agent competition is tough. So that one post couldn't have declined that. That one post couldn't have caused the decline that Glavin experienced. Malcolm also had evidence to back up her experience. Her experiences were personal, and it was her reality. Malcolm is physically and mentally hurt as her family was shattered by the affair Glavin had with Malcolm's husband. Malcolm can't be liable for the actions of her husband, nor the decline in business Glavin is experiencing.
Okay, all right. And let me say this to the jury right now. I told you before in this class that there's never a bad guy, right? It's always like shades of gray. In this case, there actually is a bad guy. He is not on trial. Okay, so the cheating guy, is not on trial. So don't make a jury decision about how bad he is. He's not a good guy. He's not even in the courtroom. So yeah. All right. So he's not on trial. The question is about this post and these words that were spoken or were written on this website. Are they defamatory? Okay. All right. Let me ask a few questions to each side. To the plaintiff side. I mean, isn't this just freedom of speech? I mean, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of angry words here, but isn't this just her right to vent and say whatever she wants to say on the internet?
Yes, it is freedom of speech, but it's the fact that she posted a photo of her face and photos from the private investigator. If she didn't do that, then maybe this would be a different case, but she, there was just things saying that she was a massive real estate agent.
Okay, all right. And freedom of speech doesn't go everywhere, right? Like freedom of speech doesn't give you the right to yell fire in a crowded room, in a crowded theater. Like, so there's limits to what freedom of speech is. Okay. How does your client know that the decline in her business, like what evidence did you have that the decline in business was related to this particular post? How does she know it exists? How did she know it existed? How does she know that her business drop is related to this post?
Well, it's not hard to gather that because at the end of the post, there's a call to action to not use her as a realtor. So it's kind of easy to connect the dots and say, hey, someone is saying for you to not go to this realtor and she's not having any clients. So
there's a strong correlation between what was asked for in the post and what actually happened in real life.
correct.
Okay. But I mean, but let me go back to the post itself. Okay. Okay. Let's turn it over to the defense. She said a lot of really heated things in here, right? She tells people not to go near her as a real estate agent. She says she's got this burning sensation. And she's waiting for STDs. Like, why is this stuff not defamatory? What's the arguments against? Let's start with the STD because that's a big one. Why is this not actionable? Why shouldn't your client be held liable for the implication that Julia might have an STD? Or Julia? Monica. Monica might have an STD. Monica is the plaintiff.
Well, she took a test, but she didn't actually have the results back yet. So she didn't actually know for sure whether or not that there was an STD or not in play. So you can't say that it was just complete malice after her. She clearly she didn't have.
Okay. So it's based on her. So you're talking about her actual experience. So her experience was, I felt this burning sensation, and then I'm waiting for an STD results. Okay. All right. What about this idea of like that Monica knew about the relationship and just didn't care, destroyed the marriage, all these a lot of very incendiary things there. Like, what about that idea of the knowledge of the relationship? How would you argue that? Is that this is not a defamatory thing?
This says, but he also told me that he eventually told Monica he was still married several weeks before I caught him, and he finally fessed up to me.
Okay. Okay, so it's based on representation by the husband who's not here to be cross-examined. About what he told Monica. Okay, all right. I'm gonna let you guys, so then, with respect to the public figure, is Monica a public figure? According to the standards of what is a public figure in Ohio. And how does that impact this case? So let's start with that. Is she a public figure?
Not anymore, no.
No, you don't think, okay, all right, because of why?
Because she's no longer a newscaster.
Okay. Okay, all right, so let's wrap it up. Why don't you guys, we're gonna do a closing statement from each side, and then I will give jury instructions, and so we'll start with the plaintiff side. Please, if you guys want to give your closing statement about why it is that we should think this post is defamatory.
This is about accountability. The statements made were harmful and damaging. Words have power and can hurt reputation. The evidence shown were not only untrue, but were made without disregard for the truth. We ask you to hold the Malcolm family accountable and return a verdict in favor of Monica Glad. Thank you.
All right. And for the defense, we have a closing statement.
Your Honor, a marriage was torn apart. Children suffered through this pain, not just Malcolm, but her kids also. She expressed this grief and pain through a story online. Lavin tried to prove this as an act of defamation, but it's simply not true. Malcolm didn't create any sort of lies about the situation. Pictures, texts, her husband, and being honest with her. We were just trying to tell us that this is defamation. It isn't. It's the truth. Malcolm's husband didn't make a right choice, but Malcolm should not be punished for this pain she has endured. Have you heard of freedom of speech? Going back to Glavin's business deal, 60% is a little much, but a quick time, don't you think? We believe this number was exaggerated and blown out of proportion. This case is about silencing a woman when she attempted to speak up. Yet Glavin makes her case as if it's a loss of income, and that just isn't right. Our client, Julie Malcolm, shouldn't be punished for just telling her side of the story. She had no, I repeat, no intentions of destroying Monica Glavin's business.
Okay, all right. All right. We are going to now break you into 3 juries, and you guys can decide this case. There's a series of questions that you will be answering as the jury, including ultimately who is the winner and loser. So what I'm going to do is going to be what I did before, because number 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's you, going. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. There'll be a 3. So, okay. So I want the 1s to meet in this corner over here. I want the 2s. Who's a 1? 1 there. I want the 2s to meet in that corner over there. And then I want the 3s to meet in the conference room out there. Answer the questions. Yeah. Florida. Yeah. Sometimes I can't do it. There's something to say that are not.
No,